When the Greek king Peleus married, he was so enamored by his beautiful wife that it never occurred to him that the gods were meddling in his fate. The gods would ultimately cause the death of his son Achilles on the plains of Troy. Peleus's wife was Thetis, an immortal sea nymph loved by Zeus, the most powerful of the gods. However, Thetis had rejected Zeus's love. As punishment, Zeus forced her to marry a mortal man. Still, Thetis and Peleus bore a son, whom they named Achilles. The Greek king was overjoyed. A seer revealed to Thetis that Achilles would become a great war hero. But rather than celebrate, Thetis feared that her son would die young in battle. Desperate to protect him, she carried Achilles to the underworld where the River Styx flowed. This river had magical powers. Thetis held her son by the heel and dipped him headfirst into the water. The magic protected his entire body, except the heel she held him by, which remained untouched and vulnerable. As Achilles grew up, war was brewing. Its causes reached all the way back to Peleus's wedding. At their wedding banquet, Peleus and Thetis had neglected to invite Eris, the goddess of discord. Furious, Eris appeared uninvited and threw a golden apple among the guests, inscribed with the words, "For the fairest." 3 goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, claimed the apple. To settle the dispute, Zeus appointed Paris, a prince of Troy, to choose who deserved it. Each goddess tried to bribe Paris. Hera offered control of Europe and Asia, Athena offered wisdom and victory in war, and Aphrodite promised the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen. Paris chose Aphrodite. The only problem, Helen was already married to Menelaus, the king of Sparta. Aphrodite arranged for Paris to visit Menelaus's home. When the king left, Paris abducted Helen and took her to Troy. Outraged, Menelaus called on fellow Greek kings, including his brother Agamemnon, to retrieve Helen. They assembled a massive army and sailed to Troy in 1,000 ships, launching what would become the legendary Trojan War. The seer Calchas had prophesied that Troy could not be taken without Achilles. Thetis, alarmed by this, sent young Achilles to the court of King Lycomedes on the island of Skyros, disguised as a girl. While hiding, Achilles secretly trained in combat. When Agamemnon learned of the prophecy, he sent Odysseus, the cleverest Greek, to find Achilles. Odysseus devised a trick. He placed 2 carts in the city, one filled with women's clothing and perfumes, and the other with weapons. All the girls rushed to the first, but Achilles went straight to the weapons. Exposed, he agreed to join the Greek army. Upon reaching Troy, the Greeks found it heavily fortified. They laid siege to the city but couldn't break through. Instead, they destroyed 23 nearby towns. In one of these, Achilles fell in love with Briseis, whom he took as his captive. However, Agamemnon took Briseis for himself, angering Achilles. In protest, Achilles refused to fight and withdrew to his tent, taking his warriors with him. Without him, the Greeks suffered. To help the Greeks, Achilles' close friend Patroclus dressed in Achilles' armor and led the army. The Trojans, thinking Achilles had returned, retreated, until Hector, the Trojan prince and hero, confronted and killed Patroclus, believing him to be Achilles. Achilles, devastated, vowed revenge. He asked the god Hephaestus to forge new armor and weapons. Then, he sent Hector a message: "You killed the wrong man." Hector, though afraid, donned his armor and met Achilles in battle. Their duel was fierce. Achilles killed Hector, tied his body to his chariot, and dragged it around the walls of Troy. Hector's father, King Priam, begged Achilles to return his son's body. After dragging the body 3 times around the city, Achilles finally relented. Achilles returned to battle and fought valiantly. But the gods were angered by his desecration of Hector's corpse. Apollo and Poseidon, supporting opposite sides, both decided to intervene. Poseidon revealed Achilles' weakness, his heel, to Paris. From the walls of Troy, Paris fired an arrow. Guided by Apollo, it struck Achilles in the heel. The great warrior fell and died on the battlefield. His body was burned on a grand pyre, and his ashes buried near his parents' home. Before the flames could consume his sword, Thetis rescued it and took it to the island of Leuc, where Achilles' soul was reunited with his fallen friend Patroclus.